Hi guys. Uh, just been messing around in Serum and I thought I'd show you how I made this bass sound. So that's uh, that's the gist of it. It's quite a simple sound. The the thing that gives it the most sort of characteristic, like the slightly metallic-y sound is the filter, which is one of the flange filters in flanges. It's flange plus filter. So without it, this is kind of how it sounds. I mean, it's not, it doesn't make a huge difference to the sound, but it kind of just, I don't know, it kind of adds character, I guess. Obviously, this being a um, square-based waveform, you can hear, you can hear this sound, you can tell, like, or at least for me, like what lies at the base of the sound. So um, I won't create a new patch, but I I will show you, I'll go through all the modules, show you what I did, and I could include the preset in the description as well. So let's just go into the effects, turn them all off. Turn off filter, turn off noise. So with all that off, we've got this. Sounds kind of boring. And that's without the FM going on. So first things first, we want to choose basically a square wave. Once you've got that, well, to get that you go and you click here and then you go to analog and you go to basic shapes and then you just scroll through the wave table until you get to square, in case you didn't know how to do that. Once we've done that, we want to click here and go to FM from B. Then we want to turn on oscillator B, go to basic shapes, and choose a sine wave. So once we've got the sine wave set up, we want to put it up by an octave. And this warp mode here needs to be pulse width modulation. And I set that to about 87, 86%. And same here with the FM, I set that to about 50%. So what I did then was set up a couple of LFOs. The LFO1 is modulating the volume and the FM amount. And for this I've just selected trigger, bar, and left everything else as it is. And I've set this curve here. So I've basically dragged it onto the level and to the FM. The level is up to 75% from 0. And here it's 50% up to about 10 or 8. I think it was 8. So yeah. Once you've got that, what we want to do is go to LFO2, set the rate to half, and make sure trigger is on, and also make sure triplet is on. Set a curve like this if you want to remake the sound that I did. Um, then assign it to the pulse width. So its starting point of the pulse width is about 87, 80. Yeah, I'm not really sure. This is 86 there. And that's going up to about, that was going up to about 20, 25. So yeah, you don't want to do too much on this pulse width. Just a little bit, add some nice movement. Also make sure the level here is turned all the way down. Once you've done that, we can set up a macro. So I put macro 1 onto the rate here. So it's basically just, it's only up just a tiny little bit. And what that does is when this is all the way up, it turns, remember I said to turn non-triplet, it makes this half note go into a quarter note triplet. So it's the, that's this here, which I've automated the macro to make this triplet on the last note of the bar. So once you got that, we want to turn on the filter and make sure A and B are routed to the filter. Make sure the noise is routed to the filter as well. I've got the cutoff set to about, I've kind of been messing around with this. Anything around 122 to 140 sounds quite good to me. Mess around with it and just use your ear to tune it. Make sure the filter is set to flange plus, and I think the resonance about 23%, something like that. Put the drive up just a little bit. So we've got that sorted. There's no modulation going on with the filter. So we can go straight into the effects tab. Straight away turn on hyper, set the mix to about a third. No, sorry, about a quarter. And then turn the size down on dimension and just turn the mix up a bit to about a third. And then distortion, I kind of was just messing around. Chose hard clipping because I just like the sound of it. And I'm modulating that with LFO2, which is going almost all the way up. And then the flanger's on. These two, these flanger and the phaser, they're not making a great deal of impact to the sound. It just adds a bit more, I don't know, just a bit more character. So I've got the rate down on both of them. Set these to by ear to what you think sounds best. And I'm just modulating the mix of these two. Then I've got compressor on with the gain pushed up a bit and the threshold just below half. Then I've added a reverb. So reverb, I've put the low cut up a bit here, simply to cut out the lower end in the reverb. And then I've got the size to about just above a quarter of the way. I don't think I've touched anything else here. Maybe I put the high cut up just a little bit. And on the mix I'm just modulating that with LFO2 again. It's just kind of puts it in a space. It sounds a bit dry without it, so yeah. Now with the EQ, I'm doing the typical like peak and notch modulation with, again, LFO2. I think what's important when you're making like these sort of sounds is to keep the modulation sources to a minimum, at least like one or two, because if you've got loads going on, it gets messy quite quickly, and it's hard to keep track of things. So again, this is something that you can kind of tune because you want it to kind of catch certain frequencies. So it's like, it kind of sounds like it's pushing and pulling on certain frequencies. It gives it kind of some more movement and like I guess a slightly vowely effect. And then here with the high pass, 12. Not doing a lot. I've got a little bit of drive and a little bit of resonance, and then the cutoff is just past halfway, and I'm modulating down, and the mix is full. So that's the effects. Another thing is to add the noise. This is the default noise setting. I'm just modulating the level, and I'm only doing this to kind of fill out some of the highs. So just find an amount that you like the sound of, and then just, sometimes the best thing to do is to push it high and then listen to it and then back it off a bit so you've got the right amount. And again, LFO2 is modulating the level there. I did have a sub on this, but in the project file I'm actually high passing it about 122, so there's nearly no point with me putting a sub in for this because I usually add a sub afterwards. So that's pretty much it for Serum. It's just I'm automating this in the DAW for that triplet. So let's just look at the mixer. All I've got here is just a high pass at 122, and I'm just compressing this quite a bit. So 4:1 roughly. That attack should be down there. Yep, and then I've got just a bit of Camel Crusher. That's just the tube there. I've got turned the compressor off and the max down. So that's basically the whole sound. If you're interested in the MIDI, it's literally just the G note here. Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's just G notes, and they're just I've kind of spaced them in a way that it uses up pretty much all the modulation for each LFO, and it cuts off and then it comes back in. It's just, I don't know, that's just something I thought sounded cool. So, like I said, simple sound to make. I will try to include the preset if it's helpful. And yeah, that's it. If this was helpful, please hit that subscribe button and like, of course.